Hey everybody, it's your girl Jasmine from the Bee Party Podcast, and I am so excited to have my guest star here with me today. We have Clay from GRANDERA LLC. Clay is someone who I've been knowing for a very, very long time. So to just see him grow and be this phenomenal person, this awesome business owner, as well as a fire rapper from my hometown, it has just been amazing watching you just grow and become the person that you are today. It is just wonderful. So at this time, I'm going to turn the floor over to you and let you introduce yourself to our listeners.
What's going on? How y'all doing today? My name is Clayton Kanzler, artist known as Triple Jones. Call me Trip for short. Young man from the area, Lincoln Park, Possum Hollow to be specific, right in the city of Slidell, you know what I'm saying? So straight out the trenches, you feel me? To be able to take it to where we at today, bro, it's a blessing. I'm so happy to see you shining and doing your thing, bro. You know, you just taking it to new levels. I thought you had it figured out, but it's like every time I get back with you, it's like you on some new shit.
It's
like
some
crazy,
other stuff. I know.
Yeah,
I was
like, yeah.
Look at my first episodes that I had on a podcast. That's what I was telling people. Like, I am a true fire sign. So everything that I do is like impulse. I think I'm sticking with one area, and then the next week I'm like, I don't really want to do that either. But definitely
doing it right though. You're doing it right. You definitely not half stepping for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate
I like your
it.
setup. I like your setup. This dope for real.
Thank you. It's like so wonderful to be here. And again, so wonderful to just see how far you have come and how far you have grown. You know, your apparel line is amazing. It's phenomenal. I was telling someone that the school I work at right now in the city, one of my coworkers was having a conversation with me, and he was saying, oh, I know a guy from Slidell. He told me to let you know to link up with GRANDERA. And I was like, that's my family.
What?
I know them.
You never told me that.
It was crazy. I was like, I already know them. You know, I was like, that's family. I said, let him know. So when he told him, the guy was like, oh yeah, I do know who she is. I just didn't know that that's the Jasmine you were talking about. So I'm like, that's crazy. And then I remember working like at a school out here. And when I was having a conversation with a student, they actually had a drip set shirt on underneath their school shirt. So I was like, look at y'all going places.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy. I'm just not hearing that. That's fresh information for me, but that's love. I love to hear that type of stuff for real. So I like for it to get in everybody's hands. Right.
And a lot of people have definitely been wearing and supporting you guys for a long time too. Like, you guys have been in business now for some years. How long has it been now?
The GRANDERA brand itself has been since 2018. I've been pushing it heavy since 2015, but I didn't get my LLC and stuff officiated till like 2018.
Okay.
But I would say we've been kind of pushing it as a brand since 15. But you know, we had the clothing brand before that.
Yeah, I do. I remember that one. Yep, definitely.
We had the fat apparel. Yeah. No. You know what it is.
I definitely remember. So tell me, like, how did you guys come up with the concept for GRANDERA? What is the GRANDERA?
Well, it started off like we had the first apparel brand we had was called Fat Apparel. So it stood for fulfilling all dreams. All right. So I went through a little time where I had to go through a little rough patches or whatever. So to kind of like when I went and had my little vacation or whatever,
right?
You know, we kind of had like a little dissemination amongst the team with the brand. So we were trying to figure out a way for us to transition into making a newer version of it, but kind of upgrading it. We didn't want to just do like t-shirts and hoodies and sweats. We kind of wanted to go to something a little bit more upper echelon that still had that same raw, authentic vibe, but it had that quality to where you like, oh, no, I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind paying for this, or I don't mind doing this because it's like an all-purpose.
Right. Something that everybody can, enjoy and want to have it, whether you're the business person or you the average person from the streets or whatever. Everybody can find something in the clothing line that appeals to them.
Exactly. So we was trying to come up with names for it. So I'm like, I'm like, man, what can I call this? Like, what would be something that has a ring to it that I feel like everybody will want to connect with? So I'm like, okay, well, they call me Trip, but I have an alternate ego. His name is GRANDERA. So it's like, everything we do is like this grand wave. It's like, well, what's grand? You know what I'm saying? How you living? I'm like, I'm grand. You know what I'm saying? So it's that. So I'm like, let me think about really what that means to me. I'm like, well, the type of time that I'm on, I want this grand wave that I'm on to be like, I want this to last. I want to go the distance. So I want it to feel like a whole era. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like the era of grand. I'm like, nah, that don't really sound right. I'm like, GRANDERA.
Right.
I said, wait, let me put it together. Grandera. I said, well, that shit, it kind of got like a foreign vibe to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Because when
yeah, I
you
think
say
that's
it
what it's gonna
together,
be.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
you
So
on
I'm like, let
that.
me put it together. So that's how we came up with it. I tapped in with the guys. I'm like, man, what y'all think about this? They said, oh no, that's it right there. I think that's the
Right.
one. And that was history. Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that was
Definitely.
history.
I do remember when you guys had the Fad one, and I remember
Yeah,
purchasing stuff from that era. So
you
to
did,
hear
bro. You've
that
been
it
supporting from the
trans
beginning. You
right from the
did. You really have
beginning.
been. You really
So
have
to
been for
hear
real.
just how far it has come, and again, you're talking about wanting it to be an era, and we know that eras are, they withstand the times. With this brand is something that has been around, and I definitely do see it in the for future to just still be lasting and forever evolving. So that's really, really awesome. So what services do you guys have? I know you have like the t-shirts and stuff, but anything else that you guys are, if y'all don't have now, that you guys are planning to put out for your customers coming up?
Well, I would like to extend it further than clothing. There's different avenues that I want to go on. The music is naturally connected into it, so I just want to like surround it, everything surrounding the lifestyle. So whether it be like videography, photography, modeling, where people can come in and get sponsorships. I want to get into athletics, where I can maybe like sponsor athletic programs, whether it be training for kids, link it up academically through sports,
Right.
where kids can kind of educate themselves
I
and
like
have the
that.
activities so they're not bored. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
kind of want to like incorporate. I want it to be like a corporation to where I kind of could do multiple things under one name and one umbrella.
Right.
So I kind of thought that having a clothing brand would kind of be the staple that I could kind of branch off of and grow into these other different, what I'm saying, levels
Right.
of the brand. But I want to take it to a few different places. But
And that's exciting. I can't wait to see how far you guys go. For those of you who are listening, Clay is also a phenomenal rapper. I'm going to definitely make sure that I attach all of his information so that you guys can stay in tune with him as far as
I
his
appreciate
rap
you.
career goes, because he raps about things that the ladies can enjoy as well as the fellas can enjoy. He has some things for the streets, some things for just like the heart, like all of his music. It is so diverse. So he's definitely an artist to be on the lookout for.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
what makes your business unique from other apparel companies that are out there?
I feel like it can attach to any brand that's already existing. The idea behind Grand is just not being good, but being great. So
Hmm.
it's just like it's a quality level. It's doing what you're doing, but taking it to that next level. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I feel like it's a good collab. Like I work with a couple different brands, and we do like collabs where it might be my top, their bottom, their bottom,
Right.
my
Okay.
top.
So
You know what I'm
like
saying?
mix matching pieces from different
Yeah.
companies and putting them together and just okay, that's really nice. A wonderful way to
I'm all
network
for it.
too.
I'm all for networking and building with my brothers and my sisters out there that have their own ideas
Right.
for what they want. I want it to be something that could be collaborative. I don't, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? They don't necessarily have to be just standalone. So that's something I feel like could be different from mine. Even though you could wear if you want to go all grand, you know what I'm
All
saying?
grand.
I'm
Yes.
never going to be against that. But you know what I'm saying? I have it set up to where if you would like to attach it to whatever else you already comfortable vibing with or whatever you like, you want to support, you know what I'm saying? It's something that'll go with everybody else
With
too.
everybody's pieces. So I know you guys used to like, really push the merchandise here in the neighborhood, do a lot of traveling to get your items to people. And I know that that's how a lot of, apparel companies start out. But now that you guys have grown throughout the years, do you guys ship nationally to other states or do you guys ship out the country? How can people connect with you guys to get your merchandise?
Right now I'm in the process of reconstructing my website. So
Okay.
I don't have an online base right now, but if you can contact me on either, my personal social media at Triple Jones GE or my brand social media at the.grandera. You could get your orders there. We do ship nationally and internationally. I have a few friends who live out the country. It may take a little bit while, especially during the
Right.
pandemic,
Yeah.
but we will definitely get them to you. You can get them. So it don't
Awesome.
matter where you at on the planet. If you need some merch, I got you.
So
So
with that being said, I will definitely make sure that I put their contact information again in the description so that that can get to you guys if you would love to support this business. Please check it out because one thing that I do know, I love how you guys have like the different color schemes. So it's not just like the average white t-shirt, blue, like they have every color you can think of, pink, purple,
all
green,
flavors,
for
yeah.
all of like for the ladies, for the men, for the everybody can get a piece of Grand Era and that is really, really wonderful. So to what do you attribute your success?
I think just not forgetting where I come from and just like sticking to my roots
Mm-hmm.
and always being adaptive, like always being able to adapt. You know, I always prided myself on being somebody who was a people person. So
Right.
I take the time to try to get to know different people because I feel like everybody has something in common. But until you really take the time to get to know another person, you never know what y'all have in common. So that
Right.
being said, I've had friends of all different backgrounds, occupations, from these different neighborhoods, these different places. You know what I'm saying? So I think that just being able to adapt to whatever it is that I'm dealing with has allowed me to stand the test of time because I haven't locked myself or boxed myself.
Right. And I think
I
that
never
that
looked
is
at it from one
also,
way, you know?
yeah, and
Yeah.
that leads to your success too, because that's why your brand is able to cater to multiple personalities, because you guys are able to communicate and have that diverse background of relationships that you have been building throughout the time. So that is something that is definitely important and necessary. So what can we expect next from you guys? Anything coming in the near future that you guys want to like put out there now for us to be on the lookout for?
So the black multicolored tees gonna be coming real soon, and we're gonna do the embroidered hoodies and stuff too.
That's
So
going to be really, really
yeah,
nice. I'm looking forward to those hoodies. Again, we dealing with this winter storm out here. So
man,
this
right
is
now,
the
good
right
time, right?
time for us to have, be bundled up and have us some
Hold on
really
now. You see
good.
this box? You see these boxes over here
Oh,
now?
look, got the merchandise
Yeah, yeah,
already
yeah.
in.
No, yeah. So it's good. It's good. Just let
Absolutely,
me know.
absolutely. I'm
Let me
excited
know.
about that. So of course, the reason why I wanted to start this small business segment is because I used to have a business of my own, and I just remember like the trials and tribulations of starting a business, being, an entity that is so small and having to build and grow clientele, as well as, having a team around you that's very, very solid. And I know you have a team around you, but there are going to be some listeners out here who need some inspiration or need some courage to go out and start a vision of their own. So my question for you is, what has been your biggest challenge as a small business owner?
Getting out of my comfort zone. Um,
I like
just
that.
trying to do things that I'm not accustomed to doing. You know, you grow up and you have a certain way that you want to do things, but I'm real tied to my area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in order for my business to grow and for me to be able to bring the best quality things to the people who are in my area, in
Right,
my local demographic, I have to branch out and expand.
right,
You know, so that's been one of the things that I really been working on, is trying to get it out to different people of different areas. So there's a lot of people who still haven't heard of me.
right,
You know what I'm saying? And really the majority, if I'm being honest, you know what I'm
right.
saying? The majority of people still haven't heard what I have going on. So it's about getting out there. And we in such a strong age right now with technology that we have social media and these different platforms that we can utilize to kind of get our information out to people at this
Right,
time. You
to
know
the
what I'm saying? So
masses. Hmm.
so just getting out of your comfort zone and also understanding that there's a process. You know, hopefully you whatever your passion is, you're doing something that you love, because you got to fall in love with the game, and that's the point.
Yep,
You
that's
know what I'm
it.
saying? Because it's gonna be them days, them dark days where you might be on your last dollar. You might not believe there's a reason for you to continue and keep going, but you got to really be in love with what you got going on and be
Right.
passionate about what you're doing, because that's gonna be the thing that keep you going and get
Yep,
you to
it's
the
going to
next
be the thing
level
that propels you forward to where you're trying to go. I talk
when
about
you
that
want to give up.
recently on my
Facts, yeah,
podcast, my episodes.
facts.
I was telling people that, you can't look at the next person's trajectory, because we're all our own individual people. And you can
That's a
get so
fact.
close to your goal, but because you're paying, like you're being impatient and thinking that it's supposed to happen when you want it to happen, you can really miss out on opportunities by not being patient and trusting in the process. And again, I love how you said that you have to love what you do, because if you don't love it, then there is no point. And if that's the case, it won't be successful. But if you're
Not at all.
passionate and you love it, then you definitely will be able to achieve what it is that you set your mind for. And also, I like how you said that, getting out your comfort zone, because that is something that is very hard for a lot of
Man, that's
people.
tough. That's
It is
tough. It's
so
tough for me.
tough.
It's tough. It's tough, bro. It really
It's
is.
so tough. And you have like, feel like multiple personalities, because you have that one side of you that's like, but you got this and you can do it. Then you have that other side that's like,
It's
nah,
like, man, I don't know,
that's it.
man. We've
I don't
been
know.
this long. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We got this far, this amount of time.
Right.
What's
So you
to
definitely
take?
have
That's
to
not,
be passionate.
facts.
I like
Yeah,
that. I
that's a
think
fact.
that that is one.
Got one more thing. So understand the difference between constructive criticism and negative feedback. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to be able to take advice without necessarily allowing it to alter what you already feel like you're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a certain level of staying true to yourself, but also being able to adapt to what people want, suggestions and things like that. You can't be so tied into suggestions that what you got going on is not your own idea.
Right.
It's not you. because then you're buying into somebody else's
Right.
idea and dreams. But it's a certain level of where you can't be so bought into your own ideas to where you're not willing to branch out and expand and do different things that
Right.
could allow you to grow. You know what I'm
So,
saying? So it's
yeah.
kind of finding that, it's that balance. Really
So
finding that balance.
So like looking at your friend group and understanding the people who are really supporting you and really rocking with what you have going on, and the people who are low key hating, because we all have that, you know, friend group or person in our group that may not really necessarily have our best intentions in mind. So they tell you things about your business or about your craft that can kind of deter you from what you set out to do. So you have to have your own mindset and say, okay, well, I'm listening to this. This sounds constructive. I can use this information, versus listening to it like, oh, well, I'm gonna not do that because so-and-so said that they don't care for it. Because I tell people all the time, I always use the analogy of tennis shoes, because when I go to the stores, that's the main item that I see that is so diverse. And I'm always like, no matter what that brand is, each company has something that appeals to you. And this brand is not worrying about what the next brand has going on. They may try to mimic the style, but no matter how much you try to mimic it, you can never get it. So constructive criticism is necessary, but follow your heart and do what you have to do. And don't worry about what the next person is saying, especially if it's not aligned with what you really want to put out there for people.
That's a fact. And I mean, and to piggyback on what you said, what you bring to the table is yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That makes you unique. So there's no need for comparison, because even if you're doing the same thing as somebody else, that person is not you. They didn't have your path. They didn't go through your ups. They
didn't go through what you've been through. Absolutely.
So that's what you.
They can't create the same thing that you can create. It may look alike, it may have similar features, etc., but what's for you is for you. And then also with that, you know, you have to get out of that lack mindset of thinking, well, because this person is doing it, I can't do it, because then people are going to say that I'm, you know, trying to be like,
copying or whatever. Yeah.
It's like that person's going to have their own clientele. You're going to have your own clientele. And that's what you worry about. You just worry about yourself, focusing on your goals and being very positive and uplifting for yourself so that you can get what it is that you want. Absolutely.
You stick to that, you can't lose.
So that kind of like tied up my next question, because that was what I was going to ask you. Like, you know, what kind of advice would you give? But I think that is some wonderful advice to someone who is just starting out with a business. Because I know for myself, like that comfort piece that you hit on, that personally pulls on my heartstrings, because when I wanted to start this podcast, this was 3 years ago. And I'm just starting it today. I was like, you know, I got to finally just one day wake up and just be like, okay, Jasmine, you're going to do it. So that's what I did. I pulled the computer out. I bought the stuff that I needed. I sat down and I said, okay, we're going to do it. And I recorded my first session.
Big doer.
And now we here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And there's no turning back.
Guess what, man? Look at you.
Thank you. This is like,
man, I'm proud of you, dog.
You know, and we from the same neighborhood. So when I think about us coming from Lincoln and looking at the people that, you know, we have in the neighborhood, we have some amazing talent here in the neighborhood, but so many people didn't want to step out of that comfort zone, didn't want to expand themselves and go out and network and meet different people or change their craft or change with the times, because the times are definitely changing and we do have to stay afloat if we want to exist. They got themselves stuck in that box that you were talking about, and now they can't get out of that box. They can't see themselves propelling forward. They're looking around like, well, why not me? And it's like, because you aren't, you know, adjusting. You're not being adaptable. You're not trying to go out and get what is for you. So, you know, that is some wonderful advice that you just gave.
No.
I
got a quote that I live by, okay? The quote is, your mentality is your reality.
Facts.
And that's it. I wake up every day and I think that. Even when I get in a negative headspace, your mentality is your reality. You thinking negative, you're going to get negative.
You're going to have a negative day. I tell my kids that all the time, and I tell myself that, like, the power of, well, I call it the law of attraction. Ask, believe, receive. So I'm waking up and I'm manifesting every day what it is that I want to see in my life, what it is that I want to bring into my fruition. Because if I don't believe it for myself, then how can I ever get it? If you stay in a lack mindset, you're going to continuously have a lack mindset. The law of conservation of energy, it can only be transferred. It cannot be created nor destroyed. So if you keep yourself in that negative mind frame and that negative mindset, that's where you're going to exist. That's it.
Exactly.
There's no other way around it.
We in
Absolutely.
2021, Jazz. We made it, baby.
We
We in
made it.
2021. I couldn't see this
Looking
far.
after going through
Can't
2020,
nobody tell me nothing.
this is the year. I'm telling people, they're like, oh, 2021 starting off. Nope, it's starting off real good.
Yeah,
it's starting off real good. So again, thank you so much for sharing space with me today. We're going to end this off with you telling people again how they can get in contact with you, with your business as well as your rapping.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start off with the music. Any platform you can search Tripple Jones. That's Tripple Jones, Jones. I'm everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Google Play, iTunes, Tidal, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it, I'm there. As far as my brand, GRANDERA, you can find us on Instagram at @the.grandera. My personal page is Triple Jones GE, GRANDERA, TRIPPLEJONES GE. You can find me on Twitter at Triple Jones GE and on Snapchat at It's Trip ITSTRIP. That's it. Everywhere else got my contact information and email. So we out here, baby. We did it.
We good. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into the B Party Podcast. I am so grateful again to share space with you all. If you want to stay in contact with me, please check the description box. I'll be dropping my link tree. And if you guys love this podcast, please leave me a love donation. Till next time, you guys be blessed.